All right, hey guys, let's talk a little bit about differences between co-ops and condos. Um, First of all, co-ops would be more restrictive in general across the board than condos. The main things that we should talk about are down payment, um, debt to income, post-closing reserves, just the overall process, and then after closing, what you can do with the apartment. So co-ops is co-op type of ownership is mostly what you see in New York City. It was it that started. Some co-ops can go back oof, like almost 100 years or something like that. Condos were more recent, so any new buildings that are built, things that usually were built in the last 30 years or so, were all built as condos. Condos are more lenient type of ownership to get into, and then they also are more um, easy to rent and to get out of. So let's just kind of dive right in. So down payment wise, they're not going to be too different. Usually a co-op's going to require 20% down payment. Condos sometimes can be as little as 10%. The next thing is the debt to income. So let's just back up on that for a second. Let's say a person makes $10,000 a month. Okay. A co-op in general, if they take the mortgage and the maintenance that you're proposing, they would be comfortable with it not exceeding 2,800 or 28% of their income. So that will also be colored by the fact that if they have other properties. So it gets more complicated when someone has a primary residence and they're buying a second home, a pied-à-terre, or they're co-purchasing with their children. We'll get into those more complicated situations in another video, but just understand in general, there's about a 28% debt to income ratio. So $10,000 in monthly income, assuming they don't have a lot of other installment debt, um, car payments and things of that nature. Okay, then assuming they have none, then you figure a $2,800 monthly payment, which has to include the maintenance. Condos, they're going to really let the bank determine it. They're not going to issue or go by a specific amount. So a bank could let you, could be comfortable with even 40 something percent. So, or 43% even. How much money you need to have after closing. Little dog wants to go down off the bed here. How much money you want to have after closing is going to depend. So on a co-op, usually whatever that mortgage and maintenance is, you multiply it by 24. Not always the case. It can be less. Okay, but in general in Manhattan, if you have that $2,800 monthly payment, multiply that by 24, and that's what the co-op is going to be looking to see on the financial statement. They're going to look to see that would be somewhere around 70,000, give or take, liquid. So that's most likely not a 401k. That could be stocks. It could be preferably just money sitting in the bank after their down payment. Okay, so they need to have the 20% down payment at least. So if they're buying $1 million property, that's a $200,000 a month down payment plus 2 years of whatever that monthly mortgage and maintenance is additional on top of it. Okay. Um, Condo doesn't have that at all. It's whatever the bank says goes, and it's usually the bank might require a couple of months, not 24 months. The overall process, the co-op will ask for more paperwork and the person could be rejected. Okay. So it's rare that it happens, but once in a while, it will happen. I had a person that was buying a co-op, had great income, great down payment, stable job history, and unfortunately, the co-op board turned her down. Okay. So sometimes these things will happen. Whereas a condo, it's different. They're not going to turn you down. Subletting, after you take ownership of the apartment, usually in general, the co-op requires you to live there for at least 2 years. It's not always the case. And then they'll let you rent out 2 of the next 5 years. So you could rent out, so let's say you live there for 2 years, then you could rent it out for 2 more years, and then you gotta come back or sell it. Okay. A condo, there's usually 99% of them, there's no limit. You want to rent it from day one, you can go ahead. So you see, condos are going to be a little bit more flexible and co-ops are going to be a little bit more requiring in terms of the process. Gives you a good overview. Condos will tend to be a little bit more expensive. So that's one of the reasons why people will go for co-ops is because you can get a larger apartment for less money. Okay? And also if a person likes older, more historic properties, like such as a pre-war building with the high ceilings and just more details, then chances are they're going to be in a co-op, whereas more of your newer contemporary buildings are condos. Okay? So if you have the down payment and you're okay with the restrictions of a co-op, then absolutely you can go for a co-op. Any questions, let me know.